How you doing tonight? Welcome. Let me be the first to welcome you to the CURVY Revolution. Are you guys excited to be here tonight? Woo! I know I am. I flew in all the way from California, came to the cold NYC for Kiki and the CURVY Revolution, but I think I kind of brought some Cali weather with me, so you're welcome. Just kidding. It wasn't me, but you know, wishful thinking. So, CURVY Fashion Week. This is the launch week for CURVY Fashion Week. We are in New York City. There's tons of beautiful people here. I saw some beautiful designs outside. And I'm your host this evening. My name is Lizzie Miller. So for those of you that know me, what's up? I see some familiar faces in the audience. And for those of you that don't, I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself. I've been a curve model in the industry for over 10 years now, and over a decade, we'll say. And over a decade. I've been in the trenches of the fashion industry for a while, and I've definitely seen fashion change from, shapeless potato sacks, where I feel like designers were just not really sure how to dress curves. They just would kind of cut a piece of fabric and throw it on us and be like, make it work, you know, to now where we have tailored, beautiful clothing, covers of magazines, mainstream brands have finally decided to branch out and do something new. And we have a long way to go, but we've definitely come a long way too. Our next guest is Elizabeth Delgado. She was born and raised in Veracruz, Mexico, moved to the United States at the age of 12 with her family while searching for the American dream. She has been passionate for art and fashion from a very young age, always drawing, painting, doing crafts and constructing garments. Elizabeth graduated from Rowan College at Burlington County with a fashion design degree, earning Dean's List recognition and an award for Best in Design. She was unable to continue her education in fashion design, but that did not stop her. With hard work, determination, and regardless of any obstacles, she continued designing, creating, and showcasing ever since. Elizabeth has since then earned a business administration degree while still working a full-time job and managing her own design company. Elizabeth Delgado's designs have been showcased along the East Coast in events such as Philly Fashion Week, Atlantic City Fashion Week, Hispanics Choice Awards, Miss Dominican Republic, and Italcal Wine Fest. Her beautiful designs have also been featured in multiple magazines, such as iFashion Magazine, Moi Magazine, and Institute Magazine, as well as Zell Magazine, and local newspapers such as Gloucester County Times, Atlantic City Weekly, and Fox 29 News. Elizabeth's style is elegant, sophisticated, and unique, yet dynamic and daring. She creates unique, made-to-measure garments while providing her clients with a one-of-a-kind experience. She loves to work with patterns, color, and textures, as well as women of all ages and sizes. Heck yeah! Her motto is to create a garment that represents every client's personality while excelling their own beauty, making her be the best sensation of any occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Elizabeth Delgado to the stage.
Hi.
Hello. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, I want to give you a hug.
Happy to have you here. I was like, her name's Elizabeth. She must be cool. That's my full name. I'm just kidding. Can you describe to me the day that you first fell in love with fashion?
To be honest with you, I don't know if there is a specific day because I've been having some type of fashion in my life since I was a little girl. My grandma used to sew my mom knew how to sew, so that's who I learned from the very start. From there, I just always liked art and things like that, and I just needed a way to blend it together. I don't think there has been a day in my life where I haven't done anything related to art, or whether it's drawing, painting, creating something, and that's when I'm at my best. Just don't bother me. I'm in my happy mode.
I love that. You're like, that's my happy place.
This is my happy place.
And I mean, I can tell because even just I saw some of the outfits out in the lobby, and they're beautiful. All the colors, they do invoke kind of joy, which I can tell. I love that. You can see it reflects in your clothing.
Thank you. That's the one thing I like to portray in my collections, regardless of what season it is. I love color. Like, that's one of the things that I think stands out. And to me, it doesn't matter what size you are. I think that you shouldn't be afraid to use a pattern. You shouldn't be afraid of color. Most girls like to just stick to a basic black because it hides things. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to still wear whatever you want and feel great and feel happy with it.
I love that. So true. Yeah, give her a round of applause. So how did you get your start?
My start in fashion was in high school. There was our class I had, and the teacher finally said, hey, you guys can do whatever you want for this one project. And I decided to create my first gown, which I had no idea I had to make from scratch, because normally I had someone, like my mom, helping me or something.
Oh my gosh, it's like next in fashion. I have 2 days to learn how to do this. Yeah.
But okay. So at that point, there was not many fabric stores available to me. And I found this one fabric, which, and honestly, I don't even remember what kind it was, but it was so tacky. And I wanted this like lace that was to match in like this bright orange, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I went and dyed it. It came out horrible. So I added more beading to it to make sure it came out the color I wanted. I mean, now looking back, I found that dress again, and I still like the design. I don't like the fabric, but now I'm like, I can now make that dress and it will come out perfect. So I feel like that's my new project that I want to do.
Yeah, no, that's a good 10-year challenge, right? No,
right.
You're like then and now.
Then and now, I should do that.
You should, definitely do that. See it?
Yeah.
How was your transition to e-commerce?
I feel like I'm still working on that, because it was one thing for me to just create what I like, for that to go into someone else trusting me to make something for them and want to buy it from me. That was a big step. And from there, now I'm like, okay, now we're here. Everything is about technology, Instagram, anything social media related. So it was a time for me to start just posting, creating my website and things like that. I do everything on my own. So basically, my website I made myself, and I'm not that tech savvy, but I do my best with it.
Wow, that's impressive, because I've just been finishing my website too, and it's hard work, and I wasn't even making it just finding it's very tedious work. Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of work. So I'm still working on it. I always find something else to improve from. I'm always, have someone who say, oh, hey, you can do this too. So I'm learning as I go. But in regards to selling online, I do get customers that send me messages online and request things online, but my main audience is in-person recommendations, because the way I sell things are not general like measurements. I do everything made to measure. So every person who comes to me gets one-on-one measurement. They get their measurements, they get their fittings. They do about 2-3 fittings, make sure everything fits the way they want. The color, the textures, everything is a process. So it's not about, hey, I like this picture, can you do this for me in my size? No, I make sure that it fits you in every possible way.
I love that. Custom tailoring there.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like especially for a curvy woman, a good tailor or someone that just does that for their clothing is so important.
Exactly. Because why buy something? It's expensive.
Yeah.
And you're investing all this money, and why invest so much on something that you end up having to take to another tailor to fix? Mm-hmm. It's better if it's just already fitting the way it's supposed to. And I don't just do for plus size or regular size. I do children's, basically women from baby to any age. Like I have made for newborns, and they're the most adorable thing ever. And I have a kids collection, but instead of just doing a regular everyday wear, I made a mini couture collection for kids. It's like a little red carpet.
Oh my gosh, I see that. That's so cute.
It's the cutest thing ever, and those girls were loving it. They were all about it. And they're little divas, and I was like,
I was gonna say these kids now, these kids nowadays. I don't know, some old grandpa up here, but really these babies now are more fashionable than like some of the adults I see walking around. It's kind of crazy, but very smart from a business standpoint to be see supply and demand, right? People
Exactly.
want to buy this.
And when they see a little kid looking that cute, they're like, oh, I gotta have that.
And then they grow out of it in like 5 months, and then you're like, no, I've got the next size up. You're smart. No, that's really smart. So how has the digital mage affected how you do business?
It definitely has made a great impact. It has.
Yeah, it has changed. I mean, at least just from the modeling side. I can't even imagine from the business side.
Exactly, because now like I'm getting people from all over the world just sending a random message like, oh my god, I love your stuff. And a lot of times, of course, we can have that one-on-one in person, but I like to do FaceTime, I like to do emails. So
you do FaceTime consults with customers?
Yes.
Wow.
Whatever we need to do. And you know what, half the time either they can go to a tailor to do their measurements. A lot of times they do take measurements different. So what I have like a figurine where I tell them exactly what measurements need to be taken, how and where, and depending on the garment, I'm like, okay, this is what you need, send me a list, and if you need help, we'll do like a FaceTime, and basically I'll be like, okay, this is where you need to go, this is what you need to do, and they just send me those measurements and it works out.
Whoa, that is so cool. Technology. That is so cool. So do you use Google Analytic tools, and what, if you do, which ones are the ones you use the most and why?
I do use it, but I don't, to be honest with you, I don't use it as much, and I'm not as great with it. I'm learning as I go, and as I'm learning, I'm like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing ever, and I love how you can see all the numbers, how you can see what people are really liking, because that helps you to know what's the next thing or what people really like, what you should be working on more. But to be honest with you, if it comes to Google, I use that every day, and my most visited page will be Google Translate, because every time I'm like, I don't know what that means, I'll go and translate. So
oh yeah, yeah, it's so helpful. Or you're like in a conversation and someone says, and you're like, make that note. Yeah, like, look that up later. Picture they have up of you too. When was that taken?
That was taken about a year ago. I was showcasing at Philly Fashion Week, and I did a more sparkly collection compared to the one you saw. It was more tropical.
I love sparkle.
And it was all French. It was really pretty.
Oh.
So it was something different from what I normally make, but it was really exciting to just create something. I like challenges, and I like to just get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, just by you telling me that pretty much each piece is perfectly tailored for, I mean, that's a challenge in itself. That's a lot of work.
It is, and if you think about it, every woman is shaped different. I don't care.
Yep.
You can be a size 12, and so can she, and you know what? None of you are shaped exactly the same way. Everything is changed in a little tiny way. It could be your top, your bottom. Something is different.
That's why I always say the mark of a truly good fashion designer is, I mean, I'm sorry, anyone can design clothes for little skinny minis. They make everything look good, you know, like, but when you bring some extra curves and dimensions into it, you know, you definitely have to have the technical skills and be able to size up and be able to take certain things into account, knowing adding extra paneling here or things, because just to make sure that it translates the same.
Exactly, and you want to make sure that when you have a smaller girl, there's so many little things you have to worry about, especially like smaller accidents that could happen. When you have someone who's in a larger size, there's going to be curves that you want to make sure that is hiding what you wanted to hide, that there's not going to be a snap that's going to come undone and then it's going to show more than it's supposed to.
We don't want any Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunctions happening.
Not everyone will complain.
I mean, you know, I don't know what your type is out here, but that's usually not what women are going for, right?
But usually smaller girls don't have that problem, you know? So
very true.
It's something that you have to watch out for, and you want to make sure that they feel comfortable, especially if you're going dancing or you're going to be moving. You want that secure in the right places.
Definitely. And I think it makes a difference too. I mean, a designer can be any sex, male or female, but sometimes with things like that, like it's like little nuances like that unless you're a woman, you know, you wouldn't have had that experience before to know, okay, I got to make sure that holds everything in here, and you know.
And usually it's from experience that you learn those things, so.
Exactly, you learn them the hard way, 100%. Well, I love that you can take your personal experience and put that into your fashion too. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So how do you address the need, I don't know if you don't like this word, but how do you address the need for inclusive fashion sizing? I know some people aren't a fan of the word inclusive. So how do you address the need for
I don't know that I
curves,
would say it's inclusive. To me, it's more about diversity.
Oh, I like that one.
Being that I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican, and I moved here when I was 12, but I have my culture very strongly. I grew up with it, with the food, with the colors, with the music, everything. And at the same time, I embrace the American culture. So I see both sides, and that has taught me to also diversify in different areas. So for example, I don't just specifically have women who are a certain size, also in color, in races. I like to include all of them, regardless of what they are. And again,
I love that.
Depending on your race, you also have different curves because you're shaped different,
Very
and
true.
the heights and everything varies. And again, same thing with including little girls as to older women. I think I have designed for basically every age at this point, and I just love to get that challenge and then look in their face when they try their outfits on. It's the most rewarding thing ever because
so important. You really do make an experience, whether it's, say it's someone's a wedding gown or a glamorous night out. I mean, just from me personally speaking, just being able to go online to a store and just be able to find something, one, that fits, two, have it look amazing, but then three, have it make you feel amazing. Because a lot of these garments sometimes that I wear, it's like, yeah, I look great, but like, I can't walk, I can't sit, I can't, it's like, for me, it's important to have that magic combination of all three.
Yes,
it's really
comfort
important.
Is key. Actually, one of the girls that modeled one of the outfits earlier, we were just talking about that. I'm like, always like, are you sure you're comfortable? Everything feels fine. And they're like, this fabric has to be the most amazing thing I ever put on because it was so comfortable, comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, Google Translate.
She's down here. She's like, oh yeah. You're doing great.
But it was so comfortable, but it also like made her feel good when she looked at herself, and that's what really matters. That you don't just feel comfortable. A lot of clothes that they sell for like larger girls tend to be just comfortable, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're pretty.
True. Very true. So if you can get comfort and pretty, ooh. You're going to be a household name one day.
I hope so.
Where do you see the future of fashion and tech going?
Oh, it's definitely going places because nowadays we use the internet for everything. I mean, I'm sure we all have an Instagram page that we all follow, like those best designers or looks that we want. Pinterest, same thing. We just save everything we want, and everything moves that way nowadays. Is what people are selling online. And personally, I think it's great because you can shop online from the comfort of your own home, which is great. But the problem is a lot of times you're gonna end up returning those items because they just don't fit the way you thought they were going to fit. So
I always end up buying a few sizes just in case you buy one size here, one size up, and then you just send back.
Just send back whatever doesn't need. And if you forget, then you get like those charges.
Well, then that's good for business, exactly. And they're like,
good for,
hey, buy as much.
For our business, yes. For you guys, no.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, what do you think about? Have you heard about avatars and AI with digital? Have you heard about that yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, for those of you that don't know, there are some brands now that have started using AI for models. So like normally you would go to like Macy's.com or whatever.com and you just see real people. Now some companies, and I'm a little nervous that it's going to start going this way, but now these companies are using digital avatars, which pretty much means these women, these models, they call them in for castings, they take pictures of each part of their body, so like their forearm, their elbow, this, nose, mouth, ear. They assemble an avatar from each of those parts, making, so for me, from like a body image standpoint, I'm like, they make a digital avatar. And some of them look realistic, some of them, one of them I saw, I was like, she doesn't have knees. Like, and I look at it from a perspective as body image. We already have a hard enough time just comparing ourselves to magazines and Instagram and social media, all this stuff. But then now, because the thing is, half the time you can't even tell that these people are avatars. So that's what I'm worried about is I get from a business standpoint, they're looking at dollars, right? They're trying to cut costs. Production has quadrupled. They're trying to, and I get that from a business standpoint. I just worry that it's something that is going to end up taking over, and it's just something that that women will start to compare themselves to, and that's just not fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to do that.
So you wouldn't use AI?
Because to me it's all about realistic.
Because people
things.
need jobs
Yes.
too, you know what I mean?
Well, for one, and I mean, what are these models going to do now?
Exactly, right?
But in reality, I just like to be real in everything I do. I like honesty. That's something that for me is the most important thing in not just fashion but my personal life. So when it comes to who I want to show the real people out there. Most of my customers are everyday people. They're not supermodels, they're not famous people, they're everyday people. And you know, you can make these gorgeous outfits for like smaller girls and yes, they look perfect, they look beautiful and everything, but at the end of the day, isn't it good to go somewhere and say, you know what, yeah, I might want to be skinny someday, but today I have this wedding or I have this amazing, my graduation, something important for you. I want to look good today, and how do I achieve that? Yeah. And we should be able to show that yes, you can still look great regardless of your size. So
yes, I love that. And I have one final question for you. If you could go back in time, what advice would you have given to yourself when you first started your business?
Well, I mean, that wasn't too long ago.
Oh yeah, you're like, it was like yesterday. It was yesterday.
I get it. No, really, it's just not to be afraid and to just go for it. I think that when you're starting fashion, especially, it's a tough career. It's a tough environment to get into. You know, most people are out to do their own thing because it's hard to break that barrier to actually make it. And every day is like a struggle, so it's concerning. You're always afraid of what's going to be next. I think the most afraid moment I had was when I basically decided I'm going to quit my job to do this full time.
Wow.
And at that point, you're like, what if this doesn't work? And
you're like, here comes the freak out.
Yeah, and that's that moment. So now that I'm doing this full time, I can say I've never been happier. I love just going in my studio, full focus on something. I grab my fabrics and I start working, and I disconnect from the world, and that's my happy place. And when I have my customers, like I said, and they show me how excited and happy they are to see their outfits, I had this little girl who just wouldn't stop jumping around and twirling, and you know, it's that satisfaction that makes it worth it. So not where I want to be yet, not selling as much as I want to be selling because it's a long process, but I am in the right path where I can say I had already customers trusting my brand, and that's what matters, because now I can say that's a push forward.
Yeah, I mean, right? All you can do is just be better than you were yesterday.
Yes.
Right? Oh, let's give her a hand, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight.
It was a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure talking to you and meeting you, Elizabeth. And that concludes our Rise of the Fashion Revolution panel discussion. I'm Lizzie Miller. Thanks for tuning in.